We're now going to show how to set the fingers by using directConnections. So on my hand control, I have a bunch of attributes. I have my curls for my fingers, my spreads for my fingers as well, and then I have my thumbs on here. Now I don't have a spread on my thumb here, and it's because directConnections are kind of hard to do the spread. So we need to investigate these attributes because right now it's set to 0, and how directConnections work is they're just taking the value from this attribute and applying it to one or multiple different sources in this case, or destinations, which are the joints in here. So when I middle mouse click and I click and I middle mouse drag, I get 10 to 10. This is kind of set for set driven keys. This is not going to be enough to drive my finger. So I need to reset these. They're actually all set to this case. So if I go into edit attribute, sometimes I believe you do have to have an attribute selected to do this. I can go in and I can select index curl, and I can turn my min and max off. I could do this for like all of them right now. So when you create your attribute, you don't have to worry if you accidentally set it or didn't set it. You can do it after the fact. Okay, so the rest of these are fine. That one has min and max too. Okay. Good. Now when I drag, click, and then middle mouse, see, much more values. Okay. So now we go into our node editor. Go. By default, it actually brings in what's currently selected. I'm going to hit the little stars up here to wipe it out, and I'm going to start from fresh. So I'm selecting my control. This is what we're going to push our values from. We're going to connect them from. And I'm going to click the little plus button, and I get a transform node and a shape node. These are all the components on this curve. I don't need this. So I'm going to hit the minus. You cannot delete this. If you hit delete, it will actually remove it from your scene. So this takes it out of our node editor. Okay, so now I can expand, and I get all my attributes. And I just want my curls on here. So if I type in curl, there's all my curl attributes. So now I want to bring in my finger joint. So I'm holding on shift and selecting all 3 joints. I'm going to hit add, and I get here. Now, these are notoriously bad at positioning everything. And that's just node-based systems. And if I expand, I gotta find what attribute I need to do. Now I know it's a rotate, so when I click it and I rotate it, I want to rotate in Z on this case. So I want this one. Now I could type in rot here, and it'll only show me that one. And I can do the same thing for these other guys here. Rot. One goes and shows shows outputs. This is what I really want. Rot. There we go. So it's going to be rotate Z. And the quick process here is I'm just going to take the index curl and I'm going to drag it to the rotate Z. And I'm going to get a unit conversion node because it's going from degrees to radians, or actually the other way around, radians to degrees. And I'm going to do the same connection into rotate Z again, and then rotate Z like that. And now when I go I grab the control and I middle mouse click the index curl. It's curling because it's just taking that -48 and applying it. So if you said, oh, I really want to invert these, I don't want it to be negative when I'm curling, it's going to be positive, and then I'd have to actually put a node in between this. That would be called like an invert node, which in this case I would not do because that's just extra work. So let me show you how to do this a little faster on the other finger. I'm going to actually take these and remove them, hit the subtract. And now I'm going to put my next finger in here. And add that in. But in this case, I'm not going to expand them. I'm just going to take my middle curl and drag it right on top of this little dot. And it's going to say, oh, here's my attributes. And I'll say, okay, rotate Z, and it makes the connection. Rotate Z. It's very easy to accidentally select the wrong node that you're, wrong little pip that you're coming out of. So make sure you're grabbing the middle curl in this case, and that down the middle one should be done. Now, as you can see, the joints have a yellow connection that shows a direct connection. Okay, so it's the same thing for the rest of the fingers. Make sure you check your character. This character has 4 fingers and a thumb. Our character may or may not have that many fingers. So our thumb, it's the same thing for the curl for this. However, we have this drop here. So let's go and let's map those, and I'm going to type in thumb here. We have thumb drop, and I'm going to select my drop. Now we're just going to be rotating down. It's actually Z in the same case here. I just want one for that. So I'm going to add that in. Ends up being rotate Z and say drop. Rotate Z. Okay, there we go. And our drop now drops our thumb. Then we can do the same thing with our curls here. I need to make sure it's rotate Z. So I'm pretty sure it is. It is rotate Z. Okay. And this does make it messy, obviously. The nice thing about the node editor is it does remember this. So if you close down your scene and save it, it will have these on here. So there we go. And there's our curls. Okay. And I can drop it like that. I was mentioning the spreads, like just dropping it down like this doesn't really work very well because it's actually doing multiple axes to make this happen. So set join keys are normally much better for that. You also can't overlap connections on here. So I can't put something else on rotate Z from another area. It would overwrite what's currently there. So the last thing is our spreads. Now spreads are really easy. I'm going to take all these and I'm going to clear them out. All I want to do is this. I want to do side to side like that. So I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to load in all 4 of these like that. Middle, ring, and pinky. They are going from side to side like that. That's Y. So I can go in here and type in spread, and I can just like that. Okay, check it. There you go. And I'll just do that for each one of them. Middle spread, and it's going to be Y. Oop, this is pinky. Okay. So now I can grab my spreads and do that. Yeah, it looks a little strange on here to do that type of thing, but I do want to be able to do, I want to be able to really tweak out how the fingers are coming together. So that's pretty much setting up your fingers with direct connections.